The recording. Okay, great. So let's start in a child's pose just to arrive on the mat.
I guess I should have the mat closer tonight. I have a pillow propping up my computer.
I know, it's a whole new world.
Right?
You got to take class, teach class, everything on Zoom, but it actually works quite well once you get comfortable with it. I
Yeah.
find it a little hard to really be on my mat demoing and also seeing. I guess I got to get a second device here so I can do both. But in the meantime, it'll have to do.
Okay.
So start, here, I'll demo child's pose. We're gonna start, and it's not facing down. Just all the way down, allowing our lower back to open, allowing your head to sort of sink into the mat. The pressure on the space between your eyebrows will start to calm your whole nervous system. And focus on your breath. So see how this position impacts where the air fills in the lungs. And as you breathe in, allow the air to go all the way to the lower back, lengthening the tailbone away from your spine. And as you breathe out, see if you can find a little more room to sink the seat closer to the heels. There's magic in the unknown. Sometimes we're out of ideas. We think and think, but nothing comes. We don't know what's next. It feels like we're at a dead end, but we're not. That void, that dreaded blank spot, is really a glorious, magical place. Sometimes we have to run out of our ideas before we can open to any new ones. The reason we can't see any further is because our ideas are limited by the past, by past experiences, by what life has been like before. Our future doesn't have to be limited by our past. Life knows that. Now we can learn it too. We are not at a dead end. We're reaching a new beginning. Now is a time of magic. Let the universe take your hand and show you things you have never seen before. Now at last, you're open and vulnerable enough to begin. Celebrate the magic, the mystery of the unknown. Celebrate the miracles that will certainly come. On your next inhale, you're going to walk your hands all the way to the right and bring your left hand on top of your right hand. Ground your left sitting bone even deeper in towards the left heel and allow your head to really sink all the way to the mat, ears between the elbows, forehead touching the mat. Allow the breath to open up the whole left side body. And then slowly begin to walk your hands back to center and over to the left. And once you get to the left, bring the right hand on top of the left hand. Ground the right sitting bone down towards the floor. Then lower the head, ears between the elbows. Forehead should touch the mat. And now allow your breath to open up the whole right side body. All the way from the right hip up through the right armpit to the right fingertips. Feeling even the small change from when we first started until now. And then slowly walk your hands to center. Come back onto the, regular child's pose, but then tent your fingertips so that you're activating the elbows and really sending a line of energy through the triceps. Lower the head down So you'll feel the stretch come to a new spot. So now it's really highlighting the upper back. And this spot is really crucial for majority of our planks and chaturangas, even down dog, because a lot of times we neglect this part of the upper back. And if we can just bring awareness to this spot, and when I say curl the upper back or engage the upper back, this is the part I'm talking about, just right below where the neck meets the back. And it doesn't have to involve the neck at all. It really shouldn't involve the neck at all. And then slowly walk your hands back to come to a sitting position. And we're going to sit crisscross applesauce. If you have the hip flexibility, you can open the knees wide and make it so that no foot is on top of the other. You know, one foot is still in front, one foot is in back, but it doesn't give you the imbalance.
Oh.
So like one foot is here. Yep. If not, crisscross applesauce is fine. This just gives us a wider base, and you know, we don't have to, it's more balanced. We're going to inhale, lengthen through the top of our head, lengthen the tailbone down towards the floor, and then start making circles around your hips.
Oh my gosh, my legs are so tight.
So go back to crisscross applesauce. Don't stress them just right in the beginning of class. Whatever is comfortable in this position, because really we're just trying to release the hips. And when we get into down dog and lots of other positions, we will get to releasing the legs.
I would be more clothed. I was like trying to get cycling in today, but I only.
So on the way down, you're exhaling. On the way back, you're inhaling. Spiraling around. And then go the other direction. Come to center. I'm just going to pin the video. Recording. It is pinned, so I don't know. Okay. So come to center, interlace the hands, inhale, lengthen the arms, arch the back, look up. Exhale, round, bringing the palms to your face and spreading the shoulder blades center to the sides. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Bring the hands all the way in front of you, right in front of your face. And then bring the hands over to the right, drop the head, and push with the left wrist. So you should feel a really nice stretch between the left shoulder blade and the left side of the neck. And then inhale, lift the head, bring the hands to the other side, push with the right wrist, lower the head, and feel the stretch in the right shoulder blade, right side of the neck. Inhale back to center. So one of the things in yoga is that the motions are not, you know, as intense necessarily as like a HIIT class or something else. But the goal is to be able to really go inside your head and like feel the minute changes, which muscles are working when, and sort of apply that to all your other workouts. So I just wanted to throw that out there since you said you were cycling this morning. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So now we can see how once we get to the legs, right now we're at the top, but once we get to the legs, we'll see how that's going to impact. So then bring your hands to your shoulders and we're going to make circles. And the closer you can bring your elbows together, the better. Really articulating the entire rotator cuff. And then circle the other way, still bringing the elbows all the way together. And then we're going to do a breathing exercise here. So you're going to keep your hands on your shoulders. You're going to lengthen your tailbone down so that you're not crunching into your lower back. And you're going to inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And we're connecting the core with our breath. And we're also waking up our energy. In yoga, we say Kundalini energy lives at the base of the spine. So you can do this as fast or slow as you want. Really try to feel what your body is telling you. And it's sort of a forceful breath. Keep going, 10 more seconds. And you should feel heat building and energy rising. And on the next inhale, you're going to bring your hands all the way up overhead. Bring your hands together and hold your breath for as long as possible. Whatever's comfortable, not something that's going to make you turn red. And then when you're done, you're going to exhale, flip the palms, and slowly bring them down by your sides. And when you're completely done exhaling, I want you to try to hold the exhale for as long as is comfortable. And then bring your hands to your heart and see what this little bit of movement with awareness has done for your head and the clarity of the mind.
You said bring my hands to my heart.
Sorry, bring your hands to your knees. Okay. And just sort of go inward to the middle of your head right here. Send your awareness here and see how differently you feel now just from that little bit of movement. We're going to sit in meditation for just 40 seconds, not a long time. But I want you to ask yourself, what is my next thought going to be? What is my next thought going to be? And when, if a thought comes, notice it like a cloud in the sky and allow it to float away. No judgment, no attachment, no trying to remember what it was. Just float away. And then go back to the question, what is my next thought going to be? And slowly, the spaces between the clouds, the blue sky, will become bigger and bigger and bigger. Now bring your hands to heart center. Bow your forehead to your fingertips with gratitude for the practice. And it's from this quiet place that we begin. Slowly roll over your knees into a tabletop position. And you're going to start just by making circles to open up the wrists and the knees. So the circles can be as big or as small as feels good to you. And then start circling in the other direction. And here, just find some intuitive movement. Like if your legs are really tight, maybe it's helpful to bring one, your seat to one heel and then your seat to the other heel. Maybe you're going to want to really arch the back and release the head. You can look over one shoulder and then look over the other shoulder. Try to use this as an opportunity to find all the cues in your body. When you're ready, we're going to step the right foot back, lengthen through the back of the foot, and push through the heel. So we're stretching the right calf. And then engage the belly to protect the back. Lift the foot, cross it across the body, Gaze over the left shoulder, push through the left heel, and you should feel the right heel, excuse me. You should feel a really nice stretch on the right IT band, right corner of the seat. And bring that foot back to center. We're gonna bend the knee at a 90-degree, bend the ankle at a 90-degree angle, and then only using the glute. So it's really a 1-inch movement. Step on the ceiling, just engaging the glute and feeling the micro contraction of right where the hamstrings meet the glute. And then from there, you're gonna point your toe, inhale, dome the back, bring the foot through, step the right foot in between the left, and inhale up into Anjaneyasana. Here we're gonna shift the weight forward, allowing the left hip flexor to really open and release. And then bring the hands to the floor, shift the right foot slightly more forward, straighten the right leg into a runner's lunge. And we're gonna go do dynamically, inhale, Anjaneyasana, exhale, runner's lunge. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, exhale, runner's lunge. Do that a few more times. And you can flex the front foot in a runner's lunge or point it, depending on if you'd like to stretch the top of the foot or increase the stretch on the hamstring. And then next time you get to runner's lunge, this time we're gonna flex the foot, lengthen through the back of the spine, the back of the neck, and then deepen the hip creases any amount, allowing the hamstring to open. Make sure that the hips are square. So the right hip may have to shift back in space and the left hip shifts a little bit forward. So you're not compensating using the hips as opposed to allowing the hamstring to open. And then from here, you can either keep the foot flexed or bring it down. You're gonna walk your hands over to the left and spend a moment here releasing the whole IT band on the outside of the right foot. Right leg. So you need to feel if it's more helpful to bend the elbows, if it's more helpful to straighten the elbows, walk your hands out a little bit. And then slowly walk your hands back, bring the right leg back. And we're gonna come into a child's pose just for a minute to come back to neutral. Then inhale forward again, coming back to tabletop. We're gonna do a few cat-cows to mobilize the spine. So inhale, look up, drop the belly. Exhale, round the spine. Gaze is between the knees. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Step the left foot back, push into the toe mound, and release the left calf. And then engage the lower belly to protect the lower back. Lift the thigh, lift the left leg, cross it over outside the right foot, and peer over the right shoulder as you push through the left heel mound to release the outside of the left hip and the IT band, whatever's tight on the outside of the hip there. Inhale back to center. Bend the knee, bend the ankle, and everything should be at a 90-degree angle. And we're gonna step, very 1-inch movement, a very small movement, using just the hamstring where it meets the glute. Yeah, that's a hard one. And then you're going to point the foot and dome the back. Bring the knee all the way to the nose. And then step the left foot forward in between the hands. Come up into Anjaneyasana. The back foot could be tucked or untucked. Sort of depends. If you want it tucked, it might give you more stability. Untucked is going to require that you really engage the outer corners of the seat more for your stability. Once you have a stable foundation, you're going to shift your weight forward so that you get a really nice release on the front of the right hip flexor. And then come back to center, bring the hands to the floor, shimmy the left foot forward a little bit, and we're going to do that dynamic movement again. So you're going to inhale up to Anjane, exhale to runner's lunge. Inhale, Anjane, exhale, runner's lunge. And sort of just spend a few moments moving here before we get to a hold. The next time you get down to runner's lunge, we're going to hold here. You can keep the foot flat on the floor if you want to stretch the front of the ankle, or you can flex the foot and increase the intensity of the stretch in the hamstring. And then come up onto the fingertips of your hands and lengthen the back, lengthen the tailbone down, lengthen the back of the neck, head goes long, and use that to find more room in the hip, like at the hip creases. So you can come down a little bit lower with a flat back. So you're really getting the stretch in the back of the hamstring. And then on the next inhale, you're going to walk your hands over to the right, keeping the left leg straight. And you can flex or point, whatever feels good for you. And you're going to just find the spot here. You can release the neck, making head circles. But find the spot that releases the outside of the right leg. You can try to bend the elbows, straighten the elbows.
The outside or the inside?
The outside, like the pinky toe side. So you might be going a little too far. Like keep the foot straight in front of you and then come out at like a 45-degree angle from there.
Got it.
Now, do you feel it?
I just feel it in my hamstrings a lot.
Okay, so.
They're probably very sore.
Okay. Okay, so let's bring the leg back behind us and come back into a child's pose, releasing the legs, undoing all the straightening, pulling of the hamstrings, allowing them to relax. And once your breath has returned to normal, meaning it's easy to breathe out of your nose, you're going to push up and back into a downward facing dog. So keep your hands where they are. Don't move them back. Just tuck the toes and push up into a downward facing dog. I want your hands underneath your shoulders. They look a little wide. I can't see your hands though, but don't worry about moving the camera. Just okay, perfect. So
I don't know.
See how that feels once I give all my cues. You might want to move them slightly closer together. So not closer to your, yes, exactly. And then push up and back, yes. Now put all of your weight in the pointer finger mound and the thumb mound of your hands. So yes, exactly, like your pinky fingers are gonna come up. And then that should lift the weight out of your wrists. And then from there, you wanna rotate the triceps back towards your legs so that, yes. So it scoops all the way out of your shoulders. So now instead of your joints holding onto the weight, your muscles are really lifting and lengthening you. And now we're gonna send our attention to your feet. So with tight hamstrings, don't even worry about your heels touching the floor. The goal is to have them going in that direction. So the heels are going down, the calves are going down, and the thighs are going back. Let's just bend your knees really, really deeply, bringing your belly or your belly onto your thighs. And then from there, you'll be able to tilt your hips long, like a pelvic tuck almost. And then once you feel that lengthening in the hips, straighten the knees any amount. It doesn't matter how straight they are. That's really not the goal. Yes, it's going to lengthen your hamstrings, but it's also, you don't want to sacrifice the rest of the pose for that. And then push down again with your pointer finger knuckles. As if I'm like pushing on your hands to make them flat.
Oh.
Yes, exactly. Because when you lift up like that, that means you're using your outer shoulders more than your inner shoulders. So now from here, shift your weight forward into a plank. Now in your plank, do your hands they look too far back. So move them closer to like the camera. Yeah. And then does that feel appropriate for your shoulder width, or it feels a little too close together?
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Now lengthen through the back of the heels. The toes move towards me. The palms move towards your feet in your mind, and your head moves towards me. And then you're going to just stay in your down dog and deepen the hip creases. So we're going to go back and forth from plank to down dog a few times, allowing your body to feel the shift in which muscles are working when. So when you're in your plank, your toes are coming towards me and your heels are going back. When you're in your down dog, your heels are going down. Yep, exactly. So try to feel that work and do that a few more times. And then the next time you get to plank, you look like you have a pretty strong chaturanga. A lot of times in chaturanga, people round their upper back instead of curl their upper back. So when you're in your plank, as you lower down, I want you to spread the collarbones from the center to the sides so that you're really using your triceps as opposed to hanging on the fronts of the shoulders. So come forward, bend the elbows, keeping them close to the sides of your waist. Yup, perfect. And spread your collarbones, lowering down. Perfect. Yup. Now from here, we're going to inhale, lift, curl the upper back. So it's exactly the same part of your back that has to work in chaturanga, which most people don't do. And use that part of your upper back to lift into your cobra. Push into the tops of the feet, lifting the knees off the mat, and lengthen the tailbone down so that you're not dumping into the lower back. Even though this is a back bend, we want it to come from the upper back. And then slowly lower your head towards the floor. We're going to spend another moment doing back bends to counteract all of the planks and down dogs you just did. So first, we're going to do one more regular cobra. So you're just going to push into the tops of the feet, lengthen the tailbone down, and inhale using as if you don't have to pick up your hands because that's going to crunch your shoulders. But the whole point of doing that is to show you that your hands have zero weight in them. And if they could be somewhere else, like not using weight, that would be great. And then from here, we're going to come into Superman. So your hands are going to go in front of you long. And first, we're just going to start with lifting the left hand and lifting the right leg. So opposite arm, opposite leg. And lengthening through the top of the fingers. You can rotate palms in if that feels better on your shoulders. But make sure that you're lifting from the hamstring. So we just, lengthen the hamstring. Now we're using the hamstring. And you're pushing through the toe and through the fingers. And then lower that and switch to the other side. Inhale, lift the right arm, left leg, making sure that the tailbone is lengthened down towards the floor. And switch. And switch. And switch. And now we're going to come into one child's pose to release the lower back. And then we're going to do all 4 limbs at the same time, locust pose. So in our child's pose here. And then slowly, you know what, let's just do a down dog to release the hamstrings before we use them again. So come into your down dog, pedal out the feet, focus on pushing the pointer finger mound and the thumb mound flat onto the floor, rotating the triceps back towards the legs, and then pedaling out the feet. Now you're going to come up onto your tiptoes and then lower your heels towards the floor. Come up onto your tiptoes and lower your heels in down dog. And then the next time you come up onto your tiptoes, take teeny tiny steps forward, lifting your hips as high as they can go, as many steps as you possibly can, walking to the front of the mat. And then we're going to just do a hang here, releasing the lower back even further. So you can bend the knees so that you're not dumping into them, and so that you have more ability to stretch the lower back and release it. And then sway side to side, releasing the head. Lower the hands down towards the floor. Inhale, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae, coming to a standing position. We're gonna lift our hands over our head and feet together, hands together. You can bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, which is like Charlie's Angel. Fingers, inhale, lengthen the tailbone down. Hands to one side, hips to the other. Inhale, back to center. Hands to the other side, hips to the other. And do that each side one more time. And then come to center. Bring your hands to your back pockets. Inhale, lift the chest. Bring your elbows together. And exhale, back bend, bringing the pubic bone forward. So it's not about the belly. The belly should be lifting up. The pubic bone all the way down is what needs to come forward. So you're going to slowly bring the pubic bone forward, lift the chest. Pubic bone forward, lift the chest. Come back to center. Inhale the hands up over your head. Exhale, swan dive down, coming down with a flat back. Hands to the mat. Inhale, hands to the knees. Halfway lift, lengthening through the top of the head. Exhale, hands to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening through the top of the head. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back, coming into down dog. And then we're going to do down dog to plank another 3 times. So inhale, forward to plank, pushing into the pinky toe side, lifting the belly button, lifting below the belly button. Exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Palms of the hands go backwards. Heels of the feet go backwards. Toes go forward. Top of the head goes forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward one more time. This time you're going to drop the heels to the left and open up to a side plank. So your heels go down and then inhale your hand up. Side plank. Exhale, come back to center. Drop the heels to the right. Inhale up. Side plank. Exhale back. Downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up. Bend the knee. Open the hip. And make circles on the ceiling. And then you're going to straighten the leg. Dial the toes down. Close the hips. Step the right foot in between the hands. and come up into high lunge. So the back heel is off the floor and the back of the back foot is perpendicular to the floor. We're going to breathe here, straightening the back leg, deeply bending the front leg, and then exhale, rotate the back leg open, coming into a warrior two. I'm going to turn around just so that so the back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. You can twist it in slightly so that you can really plug the hip bone, the thigh bone into the hip and really straighten the back leg. The front leg is deeply, deeply bent so that your knee is over your ankle and your knee is in line with your second and third toe. So it's not opening or closing. It's right smack in the middle. Your hips are open to the side of the mat. You're going to lengthen the tailbone down, interlace your thumbs above your head, pull the thumbs away from each other to activate the whole side waist. Bring the shoulder blades down, spread the collarbones from the center to the sides, and then exhale your hands out to a T so that you're now in warrior two. Contract the triceps to lift and open the chest and spend a moment here, gazes over the front fingers. Exhale, flip the front palm, bring the back hand to the lower back so that you're sure your back isn't rounding. You're lengthening the lower back down towards the floor, and then you're going to inhale the top hand up and back into peaceful warrior. Exhale, bring the top hand, front arm down onto the thigh. You're going to use the back hand here, keeping it on the lower back, to lift and twist the chest open towards the right. Activate the right hand so that it activates the right armpit, and you can lengthen the right side of the body. Spend a moment here, keeping the knee deeply bent and feeling a long line of energy from the back of the pinky side of the left foot all the way up the left leg, out the top of the head. And then inhale, lift, rotate the right leg in. Come interlace your hands above your head, lifting up, lifting the inner arches, lifting the inner thighs, lengthening the tailbone down. And then exhale your hands to your side, and we're going to come forward with a flat back. So you want to have a long neck, long spine coming all the way down. Eventually bring your hands to the floor. And here we're going to bend one knee, bend the other knee, releasing the inner thighs. And then eventually you want to bring your right hand down right underneath your face. Inhale, lengthen the spine long, so you have to sort of lift and lengthen. And then exhale, bring the left hand up. And then switch. The left hand is going to come directly under your face. Lengthen the spine. Inhale the right arm up. And twist. So on the inhale, you want to lengthen the space from the sacrum to the head. And on the exhale, you want to twist a little bit deeper. And then slowly bring the hand down. Walk your hands back to the top of the mat. Step the right foot back. And you come back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to a plank. Exhale, elbows to your sides. Slowly lower down, contracting the upper back. Inhale into cobra, pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. And here we're going to do our locust. So lengthen your hands long. And lengthen your feet long. And lengthen your tailbone long. so that you're really protecting the lower back. A lot of times when we do back bends, we automatically just dump into the lower back because it's the easiest spot to bend, and that defeats the purpose entirely. So we want to make sure that our lower back is lengthened. And then you're going to inhale, lift the arms, lift the legs, and hold it there for a breath. Lift a little bit higher, and then slowly lower down. Bring your hands underneath, making a pillow for your forehead so that you can be flat down. Bend your knees and windshield wiper the legs to release any tension in the lower back that we did cause, even though we were so mindful about not doing that. Sometimes the body does its own thing. And then we're going to push back into a plank when you're ready. So bring the feet down to the floor, bring the hands right by the sides of the chest, lengthen through the whole length of the heels to the head, and then push up into a plank. Exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Shake the head. Yes, yes. No, no. Release the head. And inhale, lift the left leg, bend the knee, open the hip. Make circles on the ceiling, articulating the entire hip joint. Dial the hip down, dial the toes towards the floor. Lift the heel a little bit more. And then on the exhale, point the foot, bring the knee to the nose, dome the upper back, and step the foot forward in between the hands. Engage the outer hips for stability, and then inhale, lift up to a high lunge. So in high lunge again, the back foot, you still can't see my feet, even though it's focused on the feet. The back foot is completely perpendicular to the floor and straight, and the front foot is very bent. The knee is over the middle toes. On the exhale, you're going to drop the back foot and open into warrior two. So play with the like where the foot on the toes on the back foot are pointing, so that only you know where your thigh bone fits best into the hip socket. So really play with the back foot to find the best angle, so that when you push into the pinky side edge of the foot, the leg straightens and you feel the whole outside of the leg activated. Deeply bend the front leg so you can really use, like the thigh should be parallel to the floor. The knee is directly above the ankle, and you want the knee right over the second and third toe, not opening or closing, so that your hips are square to the side of the mat. Inhale the arms up over your head. Catch the thumbs, pull the thumbs away from each other, lowering the shoulders, bringing the shoulder blades into the back, and spreading the collarbones from the center to the sides. Once you feel that the sides of your waist are as long as they're going to get, exhale, release the hands, and come into a full expression of warrior two. So the gaze is over the front fingers, and you're straightening the back leg, deeply bending the front leg, tailbone down. Shift your shoulders a little bit back so that they're right on top of your hips. And then activate the triceps. On the next exhale, you're going to bring your right hand behind your back so you maintain the length of the sacrum. Flip the front palm and inhale up and back, peaceful warrior. So the front leg stays completely bent and the waist is lifting up out of the hips, so that the top hand is reaching for where the ceiling meets the wall. On the exhale, you're going to bring the left hand to the left thigh, straightening the back leg. You should have one long line all the way from the pinky of the right foot, up the left leg, up the torso, and out the head. The back hand on your lower back is helping you lift the chest and twist open as if you're going to twist to the ceiling. And the front hand, you're activating the hand, which lights up the inner armpit and allows you to lift and lengthen the left side waist so that both sides of the waist are long. One more breath here. And then slowly come back up. Twist the left leg in. So now both your feet are facing the side of your mat. Inhale the arms up. Lengthen the torso. Lengthen the tailbone down. And exhale, come forward slowly. Using your core. Bringing your hands to the floor. 1 second here, just releasing the legs since they've been working a lot. And then we're going to do swimming. So you take the right hand, cross it over the left hand, reach for the left ankle. And then you take the left hand, cross it over the right hand, and reach for the right ankle. And then switch, and switch, and switch. Yeah, perfect. Do that 2 more times. And then you're going to slowly point the feet out towards the sides of the mat. And deeply bend the knees, coming into yogi squat. Using the elbows to push the knees apart from each other. Spreading the collarbones away from the center to the sides. And lifting the pelvic floor so that you're not hanging on the joints of the knees or the hips. You're really using your muscles even though you're in this low, low position. 1 more breath here. And then we're going to slowly lower to the floor, bringing your seat to the floor. You're going to bring your left leg in towards your right thigh and extend the right leg long. So, Janu Shirshasana. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, square the shoulders to the extended foot. Make sure that this leg is, the knee is facing the ceiling, the toes are facing the ceiling. And you're going to lengthen the hip bone back so that your hamstring is super long. Then exhale forward, bringing your hands anywhere on the mat. Allowing the whole back of the leg to open. And at the same time, stretching the QL. A lot of like low back pain and hip pain, leg pain comes from this muscle right here, quadratus lumborum. And then on the next exhale, you're going to bring your right hand palm facing up on the inside of the leg. If you have a block or some books or a pillow, you can raise the arm if that makes it easier. And then you're going to open your chest to the side and come up and over, lifting the left hand up, pinky side down, so that your arm is plugged into the shoulder socket. And use the bottom hand to lift the chest, lengthen the right side of the body, and deepen the twist. And then inhale back to center. Switch the legs so the left leg gets extended. The right leg comes inside towards the thigh. Lengthen the tailbone down. Inhale the arms up. Square the shoulders to the extended leg and slowly bend forward, bringing the hands wherever they reach. Lengthen the seat back so that you really get the full extension of the hamstrings. And then inhale, lift the head, lengthening the back. Once deepening the hip creases. Once you're as far down into the fold as you're going to get, release the head. So you're not adding tension to the neck. And breathe, sending your breath to any of the sticky parts, acknowledging them, allowing them to release, flow away. The reason we practice asana and yoga, of course, you need a fit body to have a fit mind. But also, if you can be uncomfortable on the mat in physical discomfort, then you're more able to maintain or cope with emotional, mental discomfort off the mat. So, really, the goal is to take the lessons you learn in our asana practice on the mat to the rest of our lives off the mat, whether or not that's the ability to sit in stillness or the ability to sit in discomfort. And then slowly walk your hands back, lengthen up, bring the left hand palm face up on the inside of the left leg. Use the pressure of the left elbow in the floor to lengthen the left side body. And then bring the right hand up and over, pinky side down, so that your arm is really plugged into the shoulder socket. We're not trying to like stretch the shoulder here. We're trying to use the weight of the arm to lift the torso up out of the hips and twist. And then slowly bring the hand down. We're going to come into butterfly. 2 feet together, knees out wide. This isn't meant to be a groin stretch, so pay attention to the distance of the feet from the pubic bone and play with it and see if a bigger diamond, a smaller diamond, whatever allows you to move the stretch from the groins, which are like actually quite sensitive to being stretched, unless yours needs to be stretched. Like I'm not in your body, so I can't tell you. But I'm imagining the stretch to be in the out corners of the seat and in the back. So, only you know exactly what you need right now, but the placement of the feet is super important to where you're going to feel the stretch. And then once you find where you're going to put the feet, allow the feet to open like pages of the book. Bring your thumbs to the bottoms of your feet, your fingers to the tops of your feet. Use the connection of the hands and the feet to lengthen the back, deepen the hip creases, and forward fold any amount. Inhale, back to center. Come to lying down on your mat. Facing up. Bend your knees. Bring your feet to a number 11 with the heels directly underneath the knees. So the feet are pretty close to the tailbone. And then hands are palms face down on the mat. And you're going to push into the hands, push into the heels. To inhale, lift the hips, lift the back, and bring the chest up towards the chin. So we want to maintain the length of the back of the neck, but the higher you can bring the chest towards the chin, the more you're working the glutes and the hamstrings, and the more massage the thyroid gets, and the more Jalandhara Bandha is like a neck lock, which will ground and reset the entire nervous system, allowing us to have a sense of peace and calm throughout the rest of the day. Three more breaths here, really engaging the glutes, lifting the chest, and then slowly lower one vertebrae at a time, paying attention to each individual vertebrae as it touches down on the mat, curling the sacrum up so that you can really articulate each individual vertebrae and slowly lower down with serious control. You're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, coming into a figure 4. And then you're going to inhale, lift the left foot and thread your fingers through. So you can either grab the back of the left thigh or the front of the left shin. And allow the left knee to come towards you, and using your mind only, no hands because the knee is, only bends in one direction. Urge the right knee to move away from you. And that comes from the hip. It doesn't actually come from the knee. And then you can extend the left leg long if you're grabbing on the back of the left thigh, or you can pull the shin in towards you if you grabbed around the shin. One more breath here, releasing the piriformis and the outside of the hip. And then on the exhale, you're going to release the hands and slowly lower the right foot out to the left side of the body. And then bring your hands into a T or into cactus arms and have a twist here. This twist is great for the outside of the leg. If you're not feeling really any twist in the body, you can lower the right knee down towards the floor and deepen the twist. Or you can bring the left knee closer towards your face, and that will also deepen the twist and sort of move the stretch. So really feel what you need now after all your movements. And allow the breath to come back to neutral, slow and steady. And then slowly inhale back to center, lowering the right leg to the floor, crossing the left ankle on the right knee, lifting the right leg and threading the hands through and either holding the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. I would suggest you do the same thing you did on the other side, only to ensure balance in the body. And then again, bring the right knee towards your face and using the hip structure and the mind's eye, allow or urge the left knee to go away from your face. You can lengthen the back leg if you did that on the other side. Slowly release the hands, avoiding a slingshot, and then lower the right foot to the floor, and then lower the left foot outside the right side of the body, and try to find a similar position as you did last time in your twist, allowing the body to open. Release any last minute tension before we get to relaxation pose. And coming back to neutral. Inhale the right leg back to center. Left leg back to the floor. If there's any last minute movements that you need, feel free to take them. A happy baby, whatever you need. Windshield wipering the legs, whatever feels good to you to release any last minute tension. And then slowly extend the feet towards the floor. Allow the legs to open like the pages of a book. Grab the sides of the mat, thumbs up, fingers underneath the mat, and pull the mat down away from you so you catch the skin on the lower back, lengthening the lower back. And then push into the elbows to bring the shoulder blades together and underneath you. And then lift the head, lengthen the back of the neck, and Bring the head back down. So you have the slight tuck of the chin, but really it's bringing you to like anatomical position. And then allow the backs of the hands to touch the floor so that your palms are face up. We spend the last few minutes of class in Shavasana, relaxation pose, so that the body is able to absorb all of the work that we've done and really reap the benefits. Our body is so good at adapting to whatever situation it finds itself in that it resets what is normal again and again and again. So that if you think that a stress level of 2 is normal, but then you spend 3 days at a stress level of 5, the body will reset that to normal so that you feel normal even if you're at a stress level of 5. And then you can slowly creep up to a 7 and then an 8. And then you find yourself thinking, how is it normal that I'm constantly stressed out? And I don't feel the need to stop what I'm doing and help myself realign back to a non-stress place. And the reason is because the body is so good at adapting, physically and emotionally. So in our Shavasana, we're taking the time to reset our normal so that this feeling of calm and peace that we worked so hard to attain becomes our new normal. This long, active, relaxed body becomes our new normal. So that if we do have pain, we feel it and we know to deal with it. Because that way we can maintain a healthy, really healthy body, not one we've just convinced our mind is healthy. Relax the entire right leg from the toes to the hips and the hips to the toes. Relax the entire right side of the body from the hips to the shoulder and the shoulder to the hips. Relax the entire right arm from the fingertips to the shoulder and the shoulder to the fingertips. Relax the entire left leg from the toes to the hips and the hips to the toes. Relax the entire left side of the body from the hips to the shoulders and the shoulders to the hips. Relax the entire left arm from the fingertips to the shoulder and the shoulder to the fingertips. Relax the front of the neck. Relax the back of the neck. Relax the jaw. Relax the tongue off the roof of your mouth. Relax your temples. Relax the sides of your nose. Relax your eye sockets. Relax your forehead. Relax your scalp. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes. Take a morning stretch, lengthening through the top of the body, bottom. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Roll to one side. The right side is energizing. The left side is calming. And once you get to like a fetal position on your side, take a moment to scan your mind and your body and see how you feel now after investing in yourself. And then slowly push up to a seating position. Bring your hands to heart center. Lengthen your tailbone down. Lengthen through the top of your crown. And we'll seal our practice with 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bow your forehead to your fingertips. Thank yourself for taking care of yourself. If you don't invest in yourself with love and compassion, you will not have love and compassion to give to anyone or anything else in your life. I thank you for letting me guide you. Namaste.
Same.
Thanks, Maggie.
Thank you.